We're on. Okay. Yeah,
Check.
this is the Doc and Dana show, kind of a special emergency, not emergency, but immediate type show concerning the Obama speech to come. Um, we were going to do a parody, but we felt, it was kind of a serious situation and just wanted to address a couple things. I'll be honest, I'm an American, of course. I voted for Obama. I may not agree with everything that he has done. I mean, he's my president. I respect him. But I'm not going to attack him being a former educator myself as far as what he represents as far as trying to reach out to students. I mean, pretty much every major president in their own way has done that. And there were just a couple of things that we were going to go down the line that I noticed in certain editorials from CNN to that wonderful station known as Fox had to share about Obama. That really, I think people are being misled by media and not, being allowed to, I guess, think for themselves. But that's, if you forfeit your right to think, then people will do it for you. So what do you think so far?
Well, I haven't been keeping up as close as some of my friends as far as exactly what how the progress is being made in terms of healthcare reforms and some of the other platforms that that were that he were making the big platforms of the election. So, but in general, I was a part of actually helping with the election. So I was in that respect, I was able to find out a little. I was able to learn a little bit more about the whole process, and that was interesting to me. And just the idea of finally be I never thought I would be able we would be able to have a black president in my lifetime. So on that just on that. In that regard alone, I would say it was something that was kind of groundbreaking for me. Not that I would say that it would be a good idea to have a black president who sets a bad example for what it would be like. But so far from what I've heard of his speeches, I see I seem to his philosophy or his way of doing things seems to be in accordance with what I would hope for in terms of progress the country, what direction the country could go in, or what progress we should make.
Well, I mean, in all honesty, I don't agree with a lot of the spending. I don't see what difference it's really making, and so the nostalgia of him being black and having the same melanin level as I have, and things to that effect aren't making a terrible difference in how I'm thinking. I mean, like any other president, he has made some plans that, in one hand, if you're a pessimist, you could say, well, he hasn't made a difference. Okay. If you're an optimist, you could say, well, it'll take time. If you're a realist, then it's just kind of a blend of the two where, he's only one person and he's, the president. He presides over the country. He's not a king. It's not his word is the end all. He represents a number of different groups, and whether they like it or not, from conservatives to liberals, Republicans to Democrats to libertarians to independents. So as far as education, I mean, the key things that I saw that were a problem was people thinking that Obama wants a cult of personality. People are gonna follow him. They're gonna be curious. I mean, that's just the day that we live in, and I guess in some ways we've always lived in. Anyone who's in power, from whether they be in entertainment, hey, even to the Surgeon General. When you used to, if you look at the back of or on the side of any kind of cigarette box, I mean, that person has a certain kind of personality or authority, or they're known for what they say or what they do. The late great Michael Jackson, if you don't agree with some of the things he did, you still look at him as him being an artist and you respect that. Just like with Obama, once again, being a politician, you respect what he claims he's going to do and things he would try to do. But the biggest problem I had was the fact that they were saying that he would, he plans to brainwash a number of these students. I mean, come on, people. This is the age of MTV, BET, VH1, the Viacom family. So you've constantly got brainwashing. If you got sort of, I hate to say it, but not much of a brain to work with in the first place, which unfortunately a lot of people are being raised that way, not to be thinkers, critical thinkers. It's easy for them to be brainwashed or misled by anything. Just look at any advertising. Commercial comes on with cereal, kids run around in circles. I gotta have new fruity whatever's. That's just, brainwashing. That's this country. This country is capitalist. We wouldn't make money. Any of us would not really make money if we didn't brainwash each other into saying, buy this, do this, vote this way, vote that way. So when it comes to education, that's like a main area where brainwashing is somewhat taken out. It's a whole purpose is to get you to think. Education comes from Latin, to ducere, to drive out, something that you already have in you. I think a lot of parents don't give their children, whether they're primary all the way up to secondary level school, credit as critical thinkers, being able to analyze what someone's saying to them. If they're not going to listen to their teachers, how do you think they're going to listen to the president? They're going to make their choice of whether or not they really agree or disagree with what he wants or thinks. And just the fact that he was trying to ask people to write letters concerning, how they can help the president. All he's doing is trying to prepare them to be the future voters, lobbyists, special interests, just people of the country. To be citizens. They don't have voting rights. They're not taxpayers. That's the whole purpose. You got kids, you got tax write-off, until they're a certain age, whether it be, hey, I'm going to college. It might go all the way up to being 26. They're still on your taxes. But nevertheless, my point is that, it's not like he's pulling a Hitler like some people said, where there was the youth of America are now like young Nazis. I'm brainwashing them, new Aryan race or something to that effect. Some kind of, I guess, colorless group of kids who are gonna work against their parents. Come on, people. If you want to refer to 1984, make it look like it's Big Brother, then just come out and say that. And the same thing too I wanted to address is a lot of people that are doing this. If you're gonna be an enemy, don't be so obvious. If you're gonna be an enemy, in other words, don't hate. You reveal yourselves by how you're going about it, because you got to look at the demographics of the people who are coming out and saying what they say. And you got a couple, stragglers. And I'm not saying it goes across race lines, but the enemies are making it a somewhat racial situation from the beginning. A number of people saying how Obama has been vilified. Every time this man blows his nose, there's a problem. He swatted a fly and actually had, if you can believe this, some animal rights groups. And the same animal rights groups would probably mace a fly with Ray to get it out, off of them or something like that. It's like anything he does, there's a problem. If he slips off of a curb, does he do some kind of offense? Is that curb abuse? I just think it's really silly. Another thing is that, I wanted to kind of go down the line. Do you want your kids to grow up to be interns or inmates? Do you want them to grow up to be pimps or public servants? Do you want them to focus on, say, what goes on in the White House or a crack house? Biggest thing is dropout rates are high. And it's not even so much dropout rates, just people are very detached from education, because a lot of times kids do not see the purpose. What is the personal investment? In other words, children, we've all been children at some point, look at what's in it for me, which is very adult. What's in it for me? They go to school, and that's why we see students knocked out, sleep, grades are low. As far as compared to other countries, we're considered to a certain extent idiots, because we don't seem to be able to compete. And it's usually just the focus, it's the means of how we are raised, what our values are when we get home. And education, it's an open field where you are supposed to actually bring your values to school, as long as they don't disrespect anybody or cause any kind of conflict.